He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. It's the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, and every Monday we get to talk to Swagoo. Marcus Spears joining us now. And Marcus, you just heard Reinagel say it. If a kicker misses, do you cut him any slack regardless?
Hell no. No way. No way, man. You got one job, bro. You got one job. And I know it's not 100% every time, but we needed you to make that one like that might be one of the biggest kicks in Cowboy history.
You know, Marcus, I have to ask you though, what happened when you're on the field and you're playing hard, you're tired, and then you go out there, you got a chance to win the game, and the guy misses a field goal. What do you guys do as players then?
Brother, it's the worst feeling in the world. Because a lot of times, man, let me explain to our listeners, man, kickers don't do nothing, okay? They come out before practice, and they kick some field goals. They do a couple kickoffs during special teams. And then most of the time, these guys are back in the facility chilling, like playing golf while training camp is going on because they don't have practice. So a lot of that is really us being a little bit jealous of the life that they live. And then for the most part, like we've worked to get you to this point to cap the game off for us. So when you miss it, it's like you just, you kind of throwing it in our face a little bit. Like, because we've done the grunt work, and now we need you to come out here and do what you're supposed to be one of the 32 best in the world at. And when you miss it, then we get it that you miss, man, but you don't miss, if you guys feel my drill.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, I know players will say all the right things to the media, but in that locker room, I think I know better.
Hey, man,
we're not going to spend.
When I was in Dallas, I think I'm gonna get this right. We were in San Francisco early in my career, and I forgot who our kicker was, but he missed the kick, and Larry Allen grabbed him by the face mask and almost shook his neck off his back. Yeah. So that's an example of us being pissed off when you miss a kick.
Knowing Larry Allen, I'm surprised he didn't intentionally break his neck. Not almost, but get it done. But Marcus, we're not going to talk kickers. Marcus Spears joining us here on the Blitz. But you look at as dejected as all the Cowboy fans were after that opener against Tampa Bay. 7.5-point home underdogs with Cooper Rush at quarterback. How did that Cowboys team dig down deep, go out there and play the way they did and beat Cincinnati with that walk-off field goal?
First of all, let me give Cooper Rush a lot of credit for his poise. For me, that was the most impressive thing about the way he played in that game. It was a phenomenal performance from that standpoint. Poise. He never seemed to be, and they said it all week, he never seemed to be over his head. He never seemed to be in a moment that was too big. Obviously made the drive at the end of the game, but he went out and executed early. And I talked about it on ESPN on a couple of shows, is that this was actually about Kellen Moore and what kind of game plan could you put together, not only to help facilitate Cooper Rush playing well, but to also get him in some advantageous situations and some favorable down decisions. And as you saw, Tony Pollard was involved more with touching the rock. Noah Brown, they found a matchup on Eli Apple, and they won that matchup. And the rapport that he had with Noah, I just think he played under control and really just tried to execute the plan that was in place and not deviate away from it or go above and beyond that. And then, too, man, you need explosive plays on offense in this league now. And they were able to get a few. Obviously, the Tony Pollard down the sideline, the pass, the one-on-one down the sideline to Noah Brown, that he was able to go up and win in the one-on-one matchup. And I was scratching my head as to why, because after a certain period of time, you would think that the Cincinnati Bengals would change the coverage plan, but they continued to stay in man, and those slants and those outs and moving Cooper off the spot, they were creating separation and able to win those matchups. So that's the one thing I think for anybody that was watching it. And look, the second half wasn't great, right? The drive at the end of the game was great, and they scored 3 points. But the kid did everything he needed to do not to give the game away. And obviously that early 14-point strike that they did in the first half, and then getting to 17 obviously was huge in the way of winning that game.
Marcus, tell us a little bit about, as a defensive player, when a team goes on an 8-9 minute drive like Cincinnati did to eventually tie that ball game up at 17.
Yeah.
How tired does the defense get in a situation like that? Or is that something we just make too much out of?
Nah, you don't make too much out of it, bro. We be dead tired, okay? Because the one thing about it is that now you know you're on your heels, right? If a offense can possess the ball that long, they start gathering information, right? And then you also dealing with fatigue. So you got a lot of times in those type of situations where a lot of guys, they lose technique, and that's what fatigue does. But you also start trying to do extra or more than your job, and that's when you give up the big play. That's when you get out of position. So it's the hardest thing about it is staying disciplined throughout a drive when that is happening. And, you know, I got to give credit, obviously, to the defense and what Dan Quinn and obviously Michael was able to do. But this is the NFL, man, and I say it all the time, week in and week out. Any defense in the NFL, if you leave them on the field too long, and if they're overexposed and your offense continues to go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, those guys on the other side of the ball are professionals too. And eventually they're going to figure out something. They're going to find a matchup. Or just by sheer numbers, they eventually are going to make a play or two during a drive that's going to give them an opportunity to get in scoring position like we saw Cincinnati do. So I think it was more about the fatigue, but it's also more about it's just a challenge when you are dealing with a drive that long as offenses gather information that they are going to find something to exploit in that particular series or that particular drive when they holding on to the ball that long.
Marcus Spears joining us here on the Blitz as he does every Monday during the NFL season. Marcus, you're watching that defense play yesterday, and offensive line looked good for the Cowboys. The defense was playing well, especially in the first half, but a couple of penalties. And look, sometimes, I don't know, I mean, should that have been a penalty or not? But it's the NFL now. We know that it's coming. How hard is it for a defensive player when you see the quarterback just starting to slide to not light them up, especially, you know, Barr being a veteran player, man, you can't make that mistake. But how difficult is that?
Yeah, it's so difficult, man. And that's why, you know, a lot of times defenders it's kind of like your hands tied behind your back because we've seen quarterbacks make slides. You don't know if they're going to try to initiate. You don't know if they're going to catch you off guard and drop the shoulder into you. So as you are in pursuit, you just don't know. You can't really dictate what that guy's going to do. And your natural reaction when you see a ball carrier, no matter if it's a quarterback or anybody, is to get them on the ground. Now, with that being said, that is the exact reason why they're trying to eliminate it, because once that quarterback slides, obviously his head and neck area is exposed, and that's pretty much the only part of your body that you can hit. So I think the NFL just made, you know, they just make a decision. Look, we're going to err on the side of keeping these guys protected, especially when you start talking about quarterbacks, because, you know, they don't ever want them to be out of a game. And then the other part of that is, you know, it's almost like it's built in. They want you to anticipate when the quarterback sees those guys converging, for you to almost kind of just guess that he's going to get down. And, man, it's just such a hard position for a defender. And I don't get upset about it like I used to, the call-wise, because I understand safety aspect of it. But, you know, it's also that defensive player part in me that's like, what the hell you want me to do? What if this dude takes slide?
Yeah.
What if he don't go out of bounds when he on the sideline? And I'm already in pursuit. I'm thinking about making a football play. But it's just something that they going to eliminate from the game. And when you do it, you're going to get flagged. So, and I was actually going back and forth on Twitter with a couple people about the call. And I said, look, I'm not going to go back and forth with you guys because this is not changing. Us arguing about it is not going to change it. And the sole reason that was executed that way, and that rule was implemented was to protect the head and neck area of a sliding quarterback, and they not going to change. That rule is not changing ever.
All right, Marcus, I got to ask you, we got a couple of pretty good football games coming up tonight, Monday Night Football. Of course, it all starts with Tennessee and Buffalo, and then Philly and Minnesota. Just talk to me about Buffalo for just a minute. And they look so dominant in their first game, and I'm not sure exactly what we have in Tennessee just yet, but what should we watch for in that game, and does Tennessee have a shot?
Yeah, I think you should watch the Tennessee Titans defensive line, and if they can at least manage to put Josh Allen under some duress or take care of this run game, or even when he scrambles and tries to extend plays, can they get to him? That's the one dominant unit of this Tennessee Titans football team, with Jeffrey Simmons and Nico Autry, and obviously having Bud Dupree and those guys that can get after the quarterback. So it'll be a challenge for this Buffalo Bills offensive line to really take care of these guys and handle them through 4 quarters. But when you think about Josh Allen and you think about what this Buffalo team is, you think complete. They signed Von Miller. It was a phenomenal performance against the Los Angeles Rams. So you look on both sides of the ball, they have superstars. And Buffalo is also not playing with their best corner right now. They had 2 rookies play a lot of time against the Los Angeles Rams. Was able to get after the quarterback and kind of create some havoc. But if you thinking about the Buffalo Bills and anybody asks you to describe this team complete on both sides of the football, and they got guys that can impact and change games on both sides of the ball as well.
Marcus, we had our big station golf tournament this morning. We've been out at a golf course all day, and now we're at a great place called Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar. So I didn't get to see NFL Live, but I know you're in Buffalo. I got to know, man, did you break a table today, or will you break a table before the night is over?
My brother, the way this bone structure is set up, I can't jump through no tape. My fat to muscle ratio is a little bit too much now for me to do these athletic feats. But I tell you this, man, I enjoy the Bills Mafia today, brother. This fan base is unbelievable. And it's almost, I mean, you guys will relate to this. It's like a college town. Very rarely do you get that in the NFL because it's such big business. And you go to these major cities, and most of the stadiums are close to downtown, or they in areas where it's a lot to do. Man, this is old school Friday night light or Saturday big time small town football. And I can see why now that this city deserves a winner, because when I tell you fully invest, like the kids got out of school early today for no reason. Just because it's a game today.
I love it.
So it's yeah, man, it's phenomenal, man. It's phenomenal.
That is awesome. Enjoy your time there in Buffalo. I know with your travel schedule today was a little bit different with everything you've got going on for the 2 Monday night games tonight. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week. Get ready for Cowboys and Giants week 3. Appreciate it, Marcus. Enjoy Buffalo.
Guys, thank you, man. I'm looking forward to these on Mondays, man. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate it. Swagoo, Marcus Spears. A little disappointed he didn't break a table today.